Test 1 2 test test.
Liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so
the beauty and majesty economically? It's the best it's ever been.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare
Castle. Previously from South Korea, Yu Kyung Choi. Previously from the United Kingdom, Matthew Walter David.
What is up,
Henderson.
fam? How is everyone? Give it a second. The connection should stabilize. I have the RSBN feed up, but I can pull up. I have another one as a backup as well. See what. Eagerly awaiting the president's address. It should be 2 minutes.
Ceremony. There, if you're just joining us, we were looking at a live shot of, well, that was a video recorded about 4 or 5 minutes ago of naturalization ceremony there for the White House. This is basically what happens when you become a legal immigrant. You pass your test, and then you become an American citizen. And Max and Bailey will be right back on the screen here in just a second with you as they are working to just change the camera battery. But we're live in D.C. in front of the United States Capitol, and the president's announcement will be coming up in any minute now, actually, within
I found the White House feed.
Looks like we have about 7 minutes to go before the president speaks, so don't go anywhere. We're actually going to be live after the president's announcement as well, where we're going to be giving some wrap-up commentary there at the Capitol. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. I'm getting in touch with Max and Bailey right now, and they're going to be back on in just a minute. So stay tuned for that. We'll have live coverage of the president's speech in full. And then we'll have some commentary afterwards. Our own Max Kleiber, Bailey Byers, live from the United States Capitol. Just waiting on them to change out that battery.
What is up, fam? How is everybody? All right, I've got the White House feed instead of RSBN. I like RSBN. I like to try and support those guys, but sometimes the quality doesn't always work. Let me make sure sound is good. We are live, so I'll keep my eye on that. You guys like my wall? What is up, 33? Joanne, how do? Awaiting the greatest president of all time. A guy that needs us to show him more than ever that we got his back. Nice. And I figured maybe after this is over and we talk about it, maybe I'll get into, I guess what Unirock calls a live dive, and just look at the Q-tardness that is permeating the MAGA sphere right now. That must be laughed at. That must be ridiculed. And the scammers must be called out. What's up, 33, buddy? Yes, tall boy, March for Life is crazy. 6,000 Russians. Awesome. I don't not speak Russian yet. I know some Russian. I must break you. That's about all the Russian I know. Yes, we should, 33. I just got internet back on. I just entered the world of Periscope again, and hoping to get a lot of things done. If you guys missed it, check out my prior broadcast a couple days ago, dedicated to my great friend Sabina Durden and all the angel parents who are putting their lives on hold and marching on Washington and demanding that they be heard. And I tell you what, if that don't get you fired up in a patriotic way, I don't know what will. All right, live stream starting soon. I'm waiting. I'm ready. Check out my wall. The wall is being built, folks. It's just in areas that the public cannot get to very easily. I do not think that they are going to be that late at the White House, but who knows? It's his time. Serenity, how are you? Long time. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's why I'm going with the White House stream. I'm not allowing for some idiot to talk over my president. I'm not allowing for any undue commentary. When the president speaks, my mic goes off and I listen. You might hear me clapping or saying, "Hell yeah! You tell him!" Excuse me, that's just what I do. I'll be honest, for anybody that sits there and has any kind of strings attached to voting on Trump 2020, go ahead and exit the room now. Because I will not hear such things. I see a man that's fighting every single day to achieve every one of his goals. And if through our laws, maybe, or the handcuffs that bind him, he can't get some things done, I'm not jumping off the train. So if you guys are just casually on this Trump train, then get the hell out of my scope right now, okay? Not happening. What is the alternative? Communism, you freaking tards. Communism. It's our republic or it's fucking communism. It's simple. That's why I have zero tolerance for idiots. Or he betrayed his base because he's going to do amnesty. The man needs to do what he needs to do to turn the fucking spigot off. We had 20,000 children last month. 20,000 human trafficked, smuggled across our border. What else do you need? I want my damn wall. If Ann Coulter came in here, I'd tell her to fuck off. Lord, now I'm going to have to look around for other streams because I don't want to be stuck on one. I want to hear the president the minute he comes out. I am going to look around a little bit. 33 is a Russian. That's so funny, isn't it?
Years.
It's so funny. All right, I'm going to mute RSBN, but keep their feed in my background too. So make sure we are not missing anything. President Pelosi, that's a fucking joke. I do believe that President Trump's troll of Nancy Pelosi, one of the greatest of all times, proved that she's not the president. It's time that our public servants just leaving Orofino. Awesome. Are you guys going to Utah, Jen? Two o'clock in the afternoon, just leaving. Oh boy. Supposed to be a lot of snow too tonight. You guys be careful. Be very careful. Lots of snow coming in. 6 to 10 in the mountains last night. Yeah, Nancy got a wake-up call. Next trip, awesome. You guys be safe. Have a great drive. It was so good seeing you guys. It sure was. As soon as our president begins speaking, I will get the volume as pumped as I can. And we will listen to what the man's got to say. Oh, Tamara, I did. Yes, thank you very much. That reminded me. I had glanced at it in between, but I might bring some of that up while we're on. This is a fly by the seat of my pants scope. I don't have a bunch of clips lined up and great stuff for you. This is basically, let's do it. Let's talk real. Hear what he's got to say, talk about it. And then we'll go from there. I'm very disturbed seeing the things that are coming out from the whole Qville. But I'm also, it's so fucking hilarious. It's so hilarious. They think that our president's in this crazy hidden plot to stop the coup together with JFK Jr. Patton himself, risen from the grave. And who knows, they might bring out Sister Teresa. To stop the scandal bigger than the universe itself, this is Q. Oh, it kills me. It's great. It's awesome. That's right, Serenity. I love it. So I'm going to do a little live dive. I just want to say, I'm curious that if I just live on air started searching terms, seeing what might come up with the idiocy, and maybe a few of these good patriots who just yearn for justice, like we all do, will accept the fact that the justice in the way we want it will never happen. Never. Is President Trump late, or is it just me? You know what? He just was making American citizens, so he had a higher purpose there. That was pretty cool. I tried to jump in the middle of that, and I backed it up. I wanted you guys to see a naturalization, someone actually becoming citizens. No doubt. He's on Trump time. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, come on. We all know we wouldn't have this conversation about a shutdown 29 days in if not for putting someone in there with MAGA balls. No Republican. They'd have folded after day 2, day 3. And for Nancy Pelosi to think she's going to drop a bomb about the SOTU, and her and little Shiftless are going to sneak away for 7 days across the globe. Denied. No travel for you. No soup for you, Nancy. Jeez, has anyone seen the bills that she racks up and the different amounts of liquor that she requires on her military excursions? It's ridiculous. Thousands of dollars in liquor. In 2 years, $100,000 bill in liquor alone. These people, they spit in our faces every single day. I care about the 800,000 government workers, but I'm going to haul ass for a week where there's no way I can be there to make a deal to end the shutdown. That's despicable. And our president was absolutely right on, and not only grounding her, but suggesting that, hey, during the shutdown, I could use you in Washington. It's time for our public servants to start doing what they are elected to do. And it's time for us to call them out. Tell them, hey, servant, go do my bidding. Time to get real. That's right. America was built on personal freedoms and the ability to not have to deal with tyranny. But there's a bunch of tyrants in office right now that are stepping all over. They're treading all over me. They're treading all over you. Our rights shall not be infringed. Know your rights. Read the Constitution. And my God, is it too much for Americans to ask to be safe in America? Is that too much to ask? Because that's pretty much what the Democrats are telling everyone. How's that feasible or possible? Doesn't make any sense. Oh, the hypocrisy's always been evident, but that was a brilliant move for our president to snuff it. And the timing was great. Did you see little Adam Shifty, Adam Shit, Shiftless, Adam Shit, hashtag SCHITT? I think that's what it was. All right, I'm anxious. Yeah. You know, Bongino nailed it. If you have the biggest story in the world, you don't fucking release it to BuzzFeed. I mean, give me a break. They think we're all a bunch of idiots here. I mean, come on. Yes, it is. It is a pun. It was a funny one. It's about time we have someone in politics that's not scared to call it out the way it is. Period. Good or bad. He's the realest mofro in the history of the planet. You want to laugh your ass off? Go check out Lavelle Crawford's take on President Trump. It's quite hilarious. President Trump's numbers. Oh, all right.
Just a short time ago, I had the honor of presiding over the swearing in of 5 new great American citizens. It was a beautiful ceremony and a moving reminder of our nation's proud history of welcoming illegal immigrants from all over the world into our national family. I told them that the beauty and majesty of citizenship is that it draws no distinctions of race or class or faith or gender or background. All Americans, whether first generation or 10th generation, are bound together in love and loyalty, friendship and affection. We are all equal. We are one team and one people, proudly saluting one great American flag. We believe in a safe, lawful system of immigration, one that upholds our laws, our traditions, and our most cherished values. Unfortunately, our immigration system has been badly broken for a very long time. Over the decades, many presidents and many lawmakers and our most cherished values. Unfortunately, our immigration system has been badly broken for a very long time. Over the decades, many presidents and many lawmakers have come and gone, and no real progress has been made on immigration. We are now living with the consequences, and they are tragic, brought about by decades of political stalemate, partisan gridlock, and national neglect. There is a humanitarian and security crisis on our southern border that requires urgent action. Thousands of children are being exploited by ruthless coyotes and vicious cartels and gangs. 1 in 3 women is sexually assaulted on the dangerous journey north. In fact, many loving mothers give their young daughters birth control pills for the long journey up to the United States because they know they may be raped or sexually accosted or assaulted. Nearly 50 migrants a day are being referred for urgent medical care. Vast quantities of lethal narcotics are flooding through our border and into our communities, including meth, cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl. Drugs kill 78,000 Americans a year and cost our society in excess of $700 billion. Heroin alone kills 300 Americans a week, 90% of which comes across our southern border. We can stop heroin. Illegal immigration reduces wages and strains public services. The lack of border control provides a gateway, a very wide and open gateway, for criminals and gang members to enter the United States, including the criminal aliens who murdered a brave California police officer only a day after Christmas. I've gotten to know and love angel moms, dads, and family who lost loved ones to people illegally in our country. I want this to end. It's got to end now. These are not talking points. These are the heartbreaking realities that are hurting innocent, precious human beings every single day. on both sides of the border. As a candidate for president, I promised I would fix this crisis, and I intend to keep that promise one way or the other. Our immigration system should be the subject of pride, not a source of shame, as it is all over the world. Our immigration system should be the envy of the world, not a symbol of disunity and dysfunction. The good news is these problems can all be solved, but only if we have the political courage to do what is just and what is right. Both sides in Washington must simply come together, listen to each other, put down their armor, build trust, reach across the aisle, and find solutions. It is time to reclaim our future from the extreme voices who fear compromise and demand open borders, which means drugs pouring in, human trafficking, and a lot of crime. That is why I am here today, to break the logjam and provide Congress with a path forward to end the government shutdown and solve the crisis on the southern border. If we are successful in this effort, we will then have the best chance in a very long time at real bipartisan immigration reform. And it won't stop here. It will keep going until we do it all. The proposal I will outline today is based on, first and foremost, on input from our border agents and Homeland Security professionals, and professionals they are. They know what they're doing. It is a compassionate response to the ongoing tragedy on our southern border. In recent weeks, we have met with large numbers of Democrat lawmakers to hear their ideas and suggestions. By incorporating the priorities of rank-and-file Democrats in our plan, we hope they will offer their enthusiastic support, and I think many will. This is a common-sense compromise both parties should embrace. The radical left can never control our borders. I will never let it happen. Walls are not immoral. In fact, they are the opposite of immoral because they will save many lives and stop drugs from pouring into our country. Our plan includes the following: $800 million in urgent humanitarian assistance, $805 million for drug detection technology to help secure our ports of entry, an additional 2,750 border agents and law enforcement, 75 new immigration judge teams to reduce the court backlog of, believe it or not, almost 900,000 cases. However, the whole concept of having lengthy trials for anyone who sets one foot in our country unlawfully must be changed by Congress. It is unsustainable. It is ridiculous. Few places in the world would even consider such an impossible nightmare. Our plan includes critical measures to protect migrant children from exploitation and abuse. This includes a new system to allow Central American minors to apply for asylum in their home countries and reform to promote family reunification for unaccompanied children, thousands of whom wind up on our border doorstep. To physically secure our border, the plan includes $5.7 billion for a strategic deployment of physical barriers, or a wall. This is not a 2,000-mile concrete structure from sea to sea. These are steel barriers in high-priority locations. Much of the border is already protected by natural barriers such as mountains and water. We already have many miles of barrier, including 115 miles that we are currently building or under contract, it will be done quickly. Our request will add another 230 miles this year in the areas our border agents most urgently need. It will have an unbelievable impact. If we build a powerful and fully designed see-through steel barrier on our southern border, the crime rate and drug problem in our country would be quickly and greatly reduced. Some say it could be cut in half. Because these criminals, drug smugglers, gangs, and traffickers do not stop at our border. They permeate throughout our country, and they end up in some places where you'd least expect them. They go all over our country. A steel barrier will help us stop illegal immigration while safely directing commerce to our lawful ports of entry. Many of these security ideas have been proposed by Democrats themselves, and all of them have been supported by Democrats in the past, including a physical barrier wall or fence. Furthermore, in order to build the trust and goodwill necessary to begin real immigration reform, there are two more elements to my plan. Number one is 3 years of legislative relief for 700,000 DACA recipients brought here unlawfully by their parents at a young age many years ago. This extension will give them access to work permits, Social Security numbers, and protection from deportation, most importantly. Secondly, our proposal provides a 3-year extension of temporary protected status, or TPS. This means that 300,000 immigrants whose protected status is facing expiration will now have 3 more years of certainty so that Congress can work on a larger immigration deal, which everybody wants, Republicans and Democrats. And our farmers and vineyards won't be affected because lawful and regulated entry into our country will be easy and consistent. That is our plan. Border security, DACA, TPS, and many other things. Straightforward, fair, reasonable, and common sense, with lots of compromise. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has pledged to bring this bill to a vote this week in the United States Senate. Our proposal is not intended to solve all of our immigration challenges. This plan solves the immediate crisis, and it is a horrible crisis. It is a humanitarian crisis like we rarely see in our country. And it provides humanitarian relief, delivers real border security, and immediately reopens our federal government. If we are successful in this effort, then we can start the border project of remaking our immigration system for the 21st century. Once the government is open and we have made a down payment on border security and immigration reform starts to happen, I plan to convene weekly bipartisan meetings at the White House so we can do a finished product, a great product, a product that we can all be proud of having to do with that elusive immigration problem. Whatever we do, I can promise you this: I will never forget that my first duty and ultimate loyalty is to you, the American people. Any reforms we make to our immigration system will be designed to improve your lives, make your community safer, and make our nation more prosperous and secure for generations to come. Thank you, and God bless America. Thank you.
Path to citizenship, Mr. President. You supported a path to citizenship last year, Mr. President.
Wow. All right, then. There you have it. Once again, the John Wick of politics is right again. I know some people went out on a limb, like they always do. This is it! The cabal is finally going down! President Trump is going to speak to us. Every 17th word, we must check the 17th letter. No, President Trump just told it straight, and once again, Adam was correct. There was no national emergency. That is something. Emo, that's funny. He didn't get impeached? Oh, damn it. I thought he was going to announce his resignation. Nancy got me. Well, I gotta go. I don't think so. No, he put out there a very legitimate case of, okay, I'm going to end it all right here. I'm throwing it out there. 700,000 DACA recipients with 3 years of legislative relief. Is that such a damn big deal? For all these hardcore, kick them all out of the country type folks? I'm all about stopping the flow. We have to stop the flow. Then we can deal with the other stuff. But right now, let's accomplish the first goal. Stop the flow. Once we plug the leak, there's a lot of things that can be done. And like he said, this was just a start. Another 300,000 on TPS, temporary protective status. That's 1 million people. Yeah, well, President Trump actually listens to the angel parents, while Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, or as we like to call them, Chancey, ignored the angel parents, would not step out of their office to even give them an obligatory, this is something I could, that I will definitely look into farther, and I'll get back with you, okay? She didn't even have the balls, or he didn't, to do that. But our president listens and has talked with them. Our vice president spent time with the angel families while they were there. I'll go ahead and change the screen. I got to yakking. And I get to yakking, I totally forget about things. All right. We'll get a background on there. I don't know if my backgrounds were causing the issue or if the White House live stream just failed. I mean, what the hell? How does the stream from the White House fail in the middle of an address to the nation, which he does not very often, very seldom. I mean, his primetime address the other night was his first one in 2 years. So how does the White House feed fail? I don't know. The good thing that I had some backups up and ready just in case. So I do apologize for that, guys. But that wasn't me. Oh, Trump has made them look like fools. Yeah. Well, you know what? They can try. But we will get the message out. Lord knows no network wants to carry anything that President Trump puts out there. Time to build the wall. You guys like that one? I've got quite a few that I've been toying with. This is another one I like. I'm so pissed off at the Capitol that I don't want to use that one right now. Maybe I'll use that one more once they start doing their fucking job. Until then, this is the place where all the action comes, right here. The White House. Here it is, guys. For 3 years, we'll let 1 million people get their shit straight. What he wants is 5.7 billion. It's like 1/100th% of our freaking budget, for fuck's sakes. It's almost like Elizabeth Warren's percentage of Indian. This 5.7 billion in our massive economy. It's like 1/1024th. It's close. But no, she is still less Indian than what Trump is asking for the wall. They have screwed us long enough, Tram. Law Tram, welcome to the show. I don't recognize you. I am Smooch Panda, and you are with the fam. This fam in this room have been together a very long time, and we're here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to MAGA. We're going to make our country great again, because that's our president's goal, and that's his only goal. So we fight daily for him. Check out some of my prior scopes and some of my future ones. I'll be having more Angel Moms on. I do believe I'm going to talk to Sabina. She's been traveling and pretty much putting it all out there on the line. My show a few days ago, showed her in Chuck and Nancy's offices fighting. Those kind of trips take a lot out of her. So I will give her some time, and in a week or two, I'm going to call her, and we're going to do a show. And her explaining exactly what she did to help end this shutdown, because believe you me, she's playing a part. She's helping getting the awareness out there. God bless Sabina Durden. She is a hero. And God bless all angel parents. We will get their stories out there. One by one, we will get them out there. And we'll find justice for some as well, like Krisha. You guys can check out Sabina's website at domhugs.org. That's right, www.domhugs.org. There's also Justice for, the number 4, Krisha, CHRISHIA.com. We're still looking for the scumbag that murdered her, but the net is closing tighter because we've got his wife's media profile. We've got his picture. He's a very unique, ugly-looking mofro, and we will find justice for Krisha. I have digressed. Bottom line is that Trump is going to take care of this. He's offering $805 million just to take care of the humanitarian crisis. Another $805 million to secure up the ports. Exactly what Nancy Pelosi was talking about with her technological wall. Aren't they all technological? And why is a concrete or steel wall immoral versus a technological wall? You know, it's great when they come out. Oh, I forgot about my finger long ago, Emo. As soon as the tendonitis and nerve impingement started. But the benefit of all this is I am in the best shape of my life, probably, or at least getting there and enjoying it. I will say hi. I've added so much stuff to my computer that it's hard for me to just quickly jump from one thing to another. There I am. You can't see me. I have to position myself in the right place. What is up, fam? Everybody check out my team. Oh, that's a big one. Team Nolan. For all the folks that know about Nolan Sprague, he's 17 when he jumped into a pool. All 6'2", 240 pounds of him. Future baseball player that broke his neck. A lot of the fam helped out with GoFundMe. I've never seen a community come together like they did for Nolan. And he went through an extensive rehab process, and there is hope that he may eventually be able to regain some use of his limbs. He has feeling, all the signs are good. Such a traumatic injury that, who knows? You know, of course, initially he'll never walk again, they say, but there was a lot of good signs in his yeah, no, I was probably packing about 185 then, Emo. I'm sitting at a svelte 181, 182 right now, and I've lost 2 pant sizes. So that should tell you. All that warehouse life was got me fat, but Nolan's doing a lot better, guys, and I appreciate every single person that put out a prayer for him and his family. April appreciates it more than you guys will ever know. Ever. This is my new hat, and I don't like the way it looks. It's not me. So, We're going to make this a little bit more Smooch Panda-like. There we go. Now that looks good. Yes, Angel, they have been wrong. And the fact that he felt feeling in several of his extremities where they told him he would not feel. 205. Geez, fatty. Good God. That's awesome. So our president comes out and, any moderate or independent has to look at this and say, that's reasonable. He's not asking for too much. He's being very reasonable. And look, his base is pissed off at him because he's offering 3 years of basically non-action on the DACA recipients, the Dreamers, and TPS. That's not given that much. But it's more give than we've seen from the Democrats. I think they went from not 1 penny to $1. So it's on them now. Yeah, 3-year temporary is nothing. It's perfect. And so if you guys leave this scope and you start seeing a bunch of idiots jumping off the Trump train because this is such a betrayal to President Trump, give me a fucking break, man. No one's ever going to agree with everything any president does. I agree with more of what Donald Trump does than any other president by far. But the Democrats have made this choice easy. It's our republic or it's fucking communism. It's easy. And so for anybody that's jumping off the train and telling you that this is going to disenfranchise Trump's base, they're fucking idiots. It's not going to happen. And they don't have true MAGA at heart. That's not their goal. And for me, I don't watch people that don't have MAGA in their heart unless I'm doing some kind of research on exposing the scammers. Trump is the greatest thing that's ever happened for the common and the real man. And I'm not going to jump off the train because he didn't get human catapults and start fucking chucking Dreamers across the border. It's ridiculous. It's time for us to support the man and be objective in what he's done. That is absolutely right. If they jump off the MAGA train, they never understood what it was all about. Dude, I don't know where you've been, but this is exactly what we've been saying from the beginning. So appreciate you coming in. Appreciate your 2 cents for sure. This group has looked at the bigger picture from the get and has realized if you want change in a swamp, it's a long-ass process and it's a long-ass fight. And you don't jump off the train or put out crazy statements like, Trump sending 150,000 troops to Syria. He's just another neocon, warmonger. President Trump pisses off everyone equally. These Democrats are so dumb. They've got a guy that will fucking bend more than any other Republican ever to help them get some of their social causes across. But their hate for him doesn't allow it. It just doesn't. They want him to win at nothing, and therefore the country to win at nothing, and they don't care. If Chancey really cared about the common man, would they be jumping on planes and leaving for a week when they should be getting a shutdown done? I mean, come on. President Trump hasn't left the fucking White House. I mean, he's left it to do some duties in Washington, but he has not freaking left D.C. except to go down to the border. He was there through Christmas, remember? New Year's. You kill me, emo. Excuse me. It's great to see a man stand up there and say, listen, this is it. How many of us have been looking at the weird state of our world and saying, come on, this is common sense. Why do I have to explain to you that as an American, I should be protected by the people that represent me? in America. And non-Americans shouldn't be represented by the representatives that we place there. This is easy shit. Yet it escapes them, or they have to have their power and their agenda so bad, and Trump's thrown the wrench in that they're just saying, fuck it, we're going to force it on you. We're just going to force it on you. That's not America, folks. That is not any America that I've ever even contemplated. And over the last 2 years, the TDS has grown so strong that they openly say shit like, we should tax them 75%. Hell, I'm going to tax them 80%. Oh, fucking A, let's just get them at 90%. Pretty soon you're going to hear Bernie, 100% of all your money belongs to the government. Yeah, Lori, there's no telling how many illegals voted. It's a state issue right now, and that's the way it is. So certain states are going to have corruption. California has shown that in a big way. One of those things where there's so much to tackle and so much to freaking try and defeat in the swamp that you have to chip away where you can. No other president or Republican politician has had the balls to say, no, right is right, and I'm not going to give in. No matter what you say, no matter how many people you tell me I'm murdering by building a wall, how racist and misogynist and xenophobic I am, it doesn't matter what you throw at me, right is right. I'm going to stand by that, period. I took an oath to protect the citizens of America, and this is what I'm going to do. None of them have had the balls to do that, ever. And we still have to deal with some rhinos there, like McCarthy and others. But we'll eventually get our country back by doing exactly what we're doing now, and that's standing strong and standing firm. And I hope you got your bricks. $20, 20 cents. Donate.donaldjtrump.com. It's the 2020 campaign. You want to re-elect Trump and send a brick to Chuck and Nancy, $20.20. I guarantee you they've already got over 100,000 bricks en route. Yeah, there's been a lot going on. Yeah, they absolutely are fighting him. If you guys missed Adam's Gingrich's scope and Law, if you haven't watched Adam, then check out Periscope at Gingrich. It's pronounced Gingrich, but it's spelt Gingrich. _of_PA. He is the John Wick of politics. Yesterday, he sat there for 2 hours and answered every single question that was thrown at him to the best of his ability, and Adam hasn't been wrong yet. In over 2 years. He'd punch you for that, emo. I repeat, Adam Gingrich has no relation to that Newt book-selling Gingrich. He's the Gingrich. Or sometimes the Gingrinch. I like him sometimes, but I realize that his ultimate main goal is selling books, not MAGA. So, therefore, he can only hold so much esteem in my head. Because it's about one thing for me and one thing only. And that's making our country great again for our children, for our grandchildren, for our great-grandchildren. Because with the socialist agenda that's creeped up in such a massive way over the last 2 years, this country will resemble nothing like it was. People will not speak if they get their way. There will not be debate. Well, yes, or Orion's dad, he did make the announcement. It is. I played it. That's how we started the show. I will give you the really quick rundown. President Trump is offering the Democrats for his $5.7 billion, $805 million for the humanitarian crisis to help the people that are hungry and need toilet paper and all that good stuff. $805 million for the ports of entry, the technological stuff, that the technological wall, the moral wall that Chancey and them want. But he wants real immigration, reform, period. He wants, I think he said 2,000 new border agents, 75 new immigration judges, because there's 9,000 cases in backlog right now. Excuse me, guys. I got a frog in my throat. Pepe, get the hell out of my throat. Okay. Also, he's going to give 3 years of legislative relief for 700,000 Dreamers, DACA recipients. He's also offering another 300,000, a 3-year extension for people that are on temporary protective status. So 1 million people get 3 years of temporary relief. That is no skin off my back. If Ann Coulter has a problem with that, whatever. She had no problem, freaking slobbing Bill Maher's knob, but she damn sure has a problem with 1 million Dreamers and TPS getting a 3-year extension. No, sorry. That's a legitimate compromise for his $5.7 billion for the wall. But guess what? They're not going to freaking take it. They're not. We know they're not. And so they show once again that they have no... It's not even in their realm of possibilities to come to the table and do this right now. What's up, Pretty in Ink? How do? The compromises that he's putting forth, he's the only one compromising. He's the only one that stayed in Washington and tried to get this done. He has shown he is the reasonable party here. He is the reasonable party. So the common everyday man is going to look at this and say he's not being unreasonable. Give him the damn wall. How many billions? A lot more than 5.7 billion has been lost in just the effects of the shutdown. The Democrats... Exactly. You just finished my sentence before I said it. The Dems are willing to destroy the nation. Well, the thing is, the pressure, Angel, is mounting on them. And what he did today, I believe, in my humble opinion, is going to put more pressure on them. Because now, those 700,000 DACA and TPS, those are 1 million people. That's 1 million people who, right now, could be yelling at the Democrats, here's our chance, let us in, please. Hopefully this puts the pressure on them. And trust me, the more they freaking try and crank the screws to Trump, Trump's a counterpuncher. Look what he did yesterday. So we keep doing what we're doing. We keep supporting Trump. We send that $5 donation because those small donations add up. Those are the numbers that the Democrats see that totally freaking scare the shit out of them. Crap, he just had 5 million new small-time donors. That scares the shit out of them. Yeah, it sucks that we have to suffer through. I thought about doing a show about the most ignorant congressional districts in the history of the fucking United States. Because the ones that are nominating the Adam Schiffs, the Eric Swallowells, the Dianne Feinsteins, the ones that keep re-electing these fucking idiots, they've got to be the dumbest districts in the country. But right now, my number one in my mind is the district in Georgia. I think I'll look that up. The district in Georgia that has elected Hank Johnson 4 times since, maybe 5 times now, but at least 4 times since he actually testified asking questions whether Guam would fucking tip over. 4 times. That's I've got to say that's probably the dumbest group of constituents on the planet. Everyone has made fun of that. Let's see. Hank Johnson, Congressional District. I just found a clip from Hank Johnson that I have not seen. The 4th District. Representative of the Democratic Georgia. 4th District since 2007. I do believe it was 2010 where he actually asked a military officer if Guam would tip over if we landed troops on one side of it. Guys, you can't make that shit up. You can't. You can't make that shit up. But you have to tell people about it. I actually told the story to a friend last night who looked at me like I was fucking crazy. And then I just showed her the YouTube. And she knew I was crazy, but I was right. There's no doubt. These despicable people. Hank Johnson actually had Jamil Shaw, and 1 year after Dominic Durden died, Sabina Durden was with Jamil testifying, and Hank Johnson asked, okay, you know what, I can tell you about it all I want. It's 5 minutes, and I will say at the end of it, my former representative, who ran for governor and narrowly lost, Raul Labrador, actually called it out for what it was, but I'm going to try and find that real quick for you guys. Why not? I'm going to do a live dive here in a minute. We're going to get on some scammery. Well, I know that very much because I know a lot of MAGA patriots that live in Georgia. I know a lot of them. My friend Mel, Top Cats woman. My friend William Colvard, one of the coolest people, nicest, most solid patriots I know. But there's also shit in Georgia. We know that. There's some great people. My friend Tracy. Hockey girl, okay? There's a lot of them. But they also have, they've got these beautiful peaches that are awesome to eat. But there's also rotten peaches that you don't want to go anywhere near from. There's gutter trash, and there's trashy congressmen who, as far as I'm concerned, need to go to hell. What I seen him do to Sabina Durden while she was still raw. And I have to find it. All they want to show me right now is all the Guam clips. I mean, he made himself famous when he asked. Dumbass islands do not tip because they are not floating. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to change my screens here. Oh, this is actually where I found it the first time. That's cool. I think our president's doing everything he can, and he's holding strong, and that is fantastic. It's fantastic. I'm anxious to see what Chancey and all them, how they try and frame this. Laura Loomer is freaking crazy. That was hilarious. Hey, I'm a crazy mofro, but I'm not even sure if I could have came up with grabbing a bunch of illegals from the local Home Depot and freaking taking them to Nancy Pelosi's house and actually scaling the walls. Oh my gosh, does it get any better than that? I don't know. All right. Let's see here. Maybe I can just do that right. That. There we go. Let's just do that. Let's do this Unirock style. I've never done this. This is how I'll begin my live dive. Okay. Yes. Make it a little better where you can everything. I have to fit screens to match. Sometimes I have to take some of it out. Let's just find the clip. Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, Hank Johnson. This is, I believe, in July, like a year. Okay, a year after Sabina lost her son, and not too long after Jamil Shah lost his son. Okay, that must have been the clip.
No, this is a...
That's the wrong one. That's the damn... Sorry about that. That's the Guam video. Sorry about this, guys. I'm doing it live, but, you know, that's what a live dive's all about, right? I believe this is just his... Maybe I can find it through here. There we go. There we go. All right. This should be... All right. This is, guys, the Immigration and Border Security meeting. I believe this could be the Judiciary Committee. But here you go.
Step back, reevaluate your cause, and take in consideration what the victims and what these people are going through. And I yield back my time. I see it's expired.
Thank the gentleman from Pennsylvania. The chair will now recognize the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm mixed feelings. Mr. Shaw, Ms. Durden, I am sorry for your loss. It was 40 years ago on May 29th, 1973, that my sister was killed, murdered by a black guy. And I chose not to be angry or unforgiving about that to this day. And I just wonder, why is it that you two have been brought here to share your pain about your loss with the nation? Were you called because we wanted to arouse passions and prejudices against people from or against illegal immigrants? Is it because we wanted people to think that all illegal immigrants are from Mexico, they're Hispanic?
What?
Is it because we wanted everyone to feel that all immigrants, illegal immigrants, are criminals or drunk drivers?
First off, I think you missed a little spot while you were shaving.
Or somehow the scourge of our community? Is that why you all were brought here? I can't think of any reason why other than that you all are here.
Can I answer that?
And
maybe they answered their kid was murdered.
This kind of passion,
what the fuck,
and this kind of emotion really is ill-placed for our consideration of legislation before us. And
what the fuck? This type of emotion and passion is ill-placed for his consideration. That motherfucker is a public servant. Servant needs to do his job.
I appreciate the law enforcement personnel who put their lives on the line every day. They're asked to do more, increasingly, with less. And they are frustrated.
That was true.
Because they have a job to do. And if the federal government can't get its act together, which it has not done, then it falls on local law enforcement. And there's no There's nothing to, and it falls on local law enforcement, prosecution also. It falls on our jails. The citizens are paying for that. But there's a deeper reason behind this that leads to our frustration with each other, and we end up pointing fingers at each other while there is money-making going on. That money-making
Sorry about that, guys. I do that every time. If you know my show, you know that I will mute myself during the show. Period. Yeah. This is going to be the point to this. This guy is so fucking dumb. But one thing he's good at is the talking points of his fucking lobbyists, the money men. And he just said that. What did he just say? We're going through all this and we're pointing fingers at each other when the people that are making money. Watch, this fucking tard is so dumb. But he doesn't miss an opportunity in front of two angel parents to get out his lobbyist talking points. It's despicable, but it has to be shown. It has to be exposed.
Leads to our frustration with each other, and we end up pointing fingers at each other while there is money-making going on. That money-making, ladies and gentlemen, is from the profits of incarceration. And so illegal immigrants can be a source of revenue for companies like or private prison, for-profit private prison companies, skyrocketing stock value on Wall Street, corrections profit prison
I want you to hear that again.
prison companies, skyrocketing stock value on Wall Street. Corrections Corporation of America,
profit.
CEO Damon Henninger, back in the week of February 20th on a conference call to investors, assuring them that incarceration rates will remain high.
Ensuring them.
Immigration detention will be a strong source of business for the foreseeable future. Do y'all understand how
the
public policy can result in dollars in the pocket of business interest? And so what's happening is we have turned our attention away from those who are making the money, and we're blaming each other for everything that ails us.
What?
And it's really time
saying
for
to angel
this game to end. The private prison corporations are members of ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, that drafts bills state by state and
talking point
introduced here in the federal government that result in these kinds of growth opportunities for business. It's wrong. It's immoral.
It is wrong. It is immoral.
And it's hurting. It's killing America.
Well, that was true.
Has expired.
That was true.
The chair recognizes
he just
the
didn't
gentleman
say it that
from
way.
Idaho, Mr. Labrador, for 5 minutes.
There's my man.
Mr. Chairman, I just wonder if I have before I have my time, if Mr. Shaw and Ms. Durden can actually answer the question, because that's one of the most ridiculous presentations that I have ever.
Well, Mr. Labrador.
I'm sorry,
Mr. Labrador.
But I think
I'm not going to stoop to the posture of Mr. Labrador.
I have to hear that
before I
again.
have my time, if
Sorry,
Mr.
guys.
Shaw and Ms. Durden can actually answer the question.
Call that
because that's one of
motherfucker
the most
out.
Ridiculous presentations that I have ever.
Well, now, Mr. Labrador.
I'm sorry,
Mr. Labrador.
but I think
I'm not going to stoop to the posture but you cannot come here and insult another member. I think that's against the rules.
I just believe that if you just call them out for coming out here And you said that they were under
If you have a question that you want to ask them,
don't call me out.
The way that I will do it.
But
I just
don't
think
get
it's
them to
insulting.
answer my question and you not have.
Gentlemen will both suspend.
And you not use your time.
The gentlemen will both suspend. Mr. Shaw, Ms. Durden, if you care to respond to the last statement / question made by the...
Yes, Obi, you are correct. He's also the guy that recently said that us Trumpsters suffer from a broken heart and drug use, and we're all a bunch of trailer trash motherfuckers, is basically what he said, but I digress.
The gentleman from Georgia, we will...
Yeah, let's listen to what the angel parents actually have to say. I know for Sabina, this was about the 1-year anniversary of Dominic's death, and she just had to hear that shit from Hank Johnson. I, as well, disavow that stupid motherfucker, and I disavow the people that have voted his ass in 4 fucking times.
Allow you to do so.
And Mr. Chairman, if I might, I welcome their response. I just happen to run out of time. But because we are sticking to the time, I don't want to give Mr. Labrador 2 minutes of free time.
We're going to give
is their time.
We're going to give Mr. Shaw and Ms. Durden.
He's trying to take Labrador's time.
And then we'll go to Mr. Labrador. But
oh, okay. Well, then we can do it like
that.
That's it.
I thought you were completing a statement. Apparently, you were completing a question. Either way, we'll let them
That'll be fine.
comment on it.
We can do it like that.
Wow. I'm good. Okay. I would love to answer your question. We weren't brought here for any sympathy or anything. My reason for being here is to put a face to this. That I don't think immigration talks about older lady going to church and somebody, says she looks like Hispanic, so we're going to check her immigration status. It puts a face on it with my son that brought a lot of good things to the community he lived in. He took care of me. He took care of his friends and neighbors and everybody. And he was wiped out because the guy who killed him in 2008 wasn't deported. He wasn't deported after his first DUI or his second DUI. A career criminal. It's almost like if I sneak into a restaurant and I act a fool and they ask me to leave, oh, no. Or I just come back and they say, no, you're not allowed here anymore. We didn't invite you back here. You did something wrong. And then I go back and they say, well, okay, you can stay until you tear up the place. And once it's all demolished, we deal with you. That's how I feel. So for you to say that we were, you question why we were brought here, to put a face to it. When I get married to a wonderful man that supported me, my son can't walk me down the aisle. I will never be a grandmother or mother-in-law. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw, did you say anything?
I hope that answered your question, you insufferable dumb prick, Hank Johnson. I wish ill upon you. As much as I wish it upon Paul Ryan, and that's a lot of ill wish, I could tell you. And for my friend to have the courage to stand up like that, for Sabina Durden to have the courage, raw as she is at that moment, to tell him, I think she did it very succinctly. Good job, Sabina. Way to put that fucktard in his place. And now Jamil Shaw, Sr., is going to do the same. And he's going to be a little more authoritative.
Yeah, basically, I didn't like the way you did that myself, because you're almost putting like no value on my son. Because when you said your sister was killed by a black man, like that made everything that we have to say non-void because it was a black man and like we're picking on Latinos. But what you have to understand is that our kids were here. they were living here and they were murdered by someone illegally in the country. And I came here to let people know that I don't have to say that everybody here is 11 million people or more aren't criminals. I mean, I'm here to say that you have people here in the country illegally that are criminals. You have people here that were brought here by no fault of their own. My son was murdered by someone that was brought here at 4 years old. And just because someone was brought here by no fault of their own, you guys act like that gives them some kind of carte blanche to do whatever they want to, you know, and that's not fair. If you're here illegally from day one, you cross that border, everything else is out the door. It's illegal. And for you to act like if you come into our country, it's not a crime, that's insulting to all Americans. And to say that I came here for sympathy, you know, I don't need sympathy. You know, I get it. I think about my son 24 hours a day, and I'm sure you feel the same about your sister. And for you to try to make it seem like I was just brought here like some puppet to make people cry or make people feel sorry for me, that's not fair. That's not fair because we love our kids. Like she was saying, my son wasn't bothering anybody. He was walking down the street, coming home from the mall. I'm sure like your kids probably do, go to the mall, enjoy life. My son wasn't bothering anybody. He was playing football. He wasn't in the gang, no gang databases. He'd never been arrested, never been suspended from school. He was 3 times MVP, Player of the Year. He was running track. He was getting ready to get a shot at going to the Olympics. You know, so for you to make it seem like that our families aren't important and we're brought here like, they brought us out here like to like we're puppets, you know, to make fun of us, that's insulting to me, you know. And for you to have that nonchalant attitude is not fair. The same way with the attorney and the other lady down on the end. Same way. They never talk about the crimes and the criminals and the cemeteries full of dead people, you know. And they act like just because they're here to work that's some kind of honor. That's not an honor. You broke the law to come into this country.
That's right.
You know, you brought your kids over here. That's equivalent to human trafficking. You brought an infant that had no control of what they were doing to a foreign country illegally and then raised them like that. And then you want us to feel like it's our fault because they're just mom and dad just here to work. Where's the criminal? Where's the criminality for the mother?
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Mr. Chairman, if I might offer my apology to both witnesses. If I offended you, it was not my intent.
As Stone Cold Steve Austin would say, shut the hell up! I don't want your fucking apology, Hank Johnson. And neither does anyone listening to this broadcast, and damn sure Sabina. Well, they probably deserved an apology. But they know where it comes from with your private prison the property the property private Jesus Christ, you talk as bad as 0 Hour, stupid motherfucker. I feel better. Jesus Christ, guys. If you offended them. That's right, William. I mean, I saw this a couple days ago and about fell the fuck over. And I said, you know what, I've got to expose this. Didn't plan on doing it today, but, you know, no time like the freaking present. You're right, Tamara, it wasn't an apology. He's going to try and make an excuse on why he said it. That's why I had to snuff it. Piece of shit, you need to get off of my screen. Ah, it pisses me off. Yeah. Johnson's an idiot. It wasn't just the Guam shit. He continues to be an idiot. And yet he's on important fucking committees like the House Judiciary Committee at the time. Obviously, he didn't last there very long. At least I hope not, because I don't remember seeing him in this last term at all in that capacity. But he's still there. You're absolutely welcome. I have no problem saying it. As long as I have a voice, I'm gonna say it. Exactly, Obi. I'm worried it may capsize. Oh my god. But you're so right on that. I mean, it's disgusting. I am going to go ahead and bring up bring up Sabina's site. That's not on it. Okay. Yep. Sabina's been very busy. She's been beating on the doors. That's not it. There it is. DomHugs.org, y'all. Visit her website, show her some love. Go to her YouTube channel, show her some love. Get my ass out of the way so you can actually see DomHugs.org. I do want to go through, and she has some new posts from her travails. She's been all over DC for about a week. You guys haven't caught my video with Sabina, my interview, 3-hour video. And I am going to have her back on in the next week or two whenever she can recover from what she's done. Eric Bowling, 116. Blaze TV. At least they are. At least they are giving voice. Let's go ahead and watch that one. Why? Because it's time. Like she said, put a face. Put a face to this. Alright, now I'm just getting the TV part of it set. So you guys can enjoy. Tell you what I'm doing while I'm doing. Do the fancy background around it. Let's this and watch. This is Eric Bowling interviewing Sabina on the 16th, 3 days ago.
There is a wall between you and Nancy Pelosi.
Exactly. Literally. If I bust through there, I get arrested if I go through that door without permission.
But you wouldn't, because
No, because I obey the laws and I respect this office rules. And I wish the killers of our kids would have been held to that same standard when they had them in the first place. But they get treated different.
A wall is an immorality. It's not who we are as a nation.
Yeah, and I don't even think there's one word that can describe how I feel about her, because as a mother, as a woman, as a grandmother, I don't think any woman who's in here can even grasp her nonchalant attitude about children being killed.
We are not going to be able to get it done under the Republican leadership in Congress. We believe that we will have leverage when we win in November. And why that's important? Because it gives leverage to every family, to every mom who courageously brought her child across the desert to escape.
And your brother served overseas.
Yes, served. Only to get killed on this soil.
To get killed on our border.
Yes.
Our unprotected border.
Our border with no wall.
Right, with no walls.
Yep. Days before Christmas. My Christmas is ruined forever.
The women and children at the border are not a security threat.
Can I ask you ladies something? I mean, you are so brave and you come out and you tell your story all the time, and it's difficult for you. And you're waiting outside hoping to see Nancy Pelosi, who won't come and see you. That must be, I mean, the bravery that you've exhibited and the willingness to come out and tell your story, which is such a difficult story to tell. It's difficult to hear, and she refuses to hear it. How does that make you feel?
Infuriated. Yeah, angry. Insulted, actually. Because if you can talk all that talk, why don't you walk all that walk? Why don't you, if you're that tough, come see me. Come see all of us in one room. No press, nobody, just us, just for 2 minutes. That's all we ask.
In which you would accept even $1 of wall funding for this president in order to reopen the government.
$1? $1. $1? Yeah, $1.
That what?
Outside
Thank
her
you,
door.
sir. Perfect. This is what's worth. I guess our kids are worth.
$1
It's
per child
each.
here, right?
$1 per child.
Well, maybe I misread that. I thought that was Eric Durden. Or excuse me, Eric Bolling. Breitbart News. I showed this the other day. We'll just watch this one.
Face to face. Nancy Pelosi still has not responded to that challenge from Angel mother Sabina Durden. Her son Dominic was killed by an illegal immigrant, and now she wants a wall built at our southern border. And she joins us now to tell us why it is so important to her. Sabina, thank you for your time. I know this is something that you are speaking out in favor of because it's important to you. Why do you feel like this is necessary at the southern border?
Good morning. Because it will protect not just our citizens, but it will protect those who still think they can come in. Because of Pelosi's and Schumer's rhetoric about we don't need a wall, it's immoral. No, it's highly immoral to keep this hope alive for people to bring their children, to use children, and then they die, they get raped. So it will protect both of our sides. And we as Americans, I don't want another family to have the ashes of their child. And Pelosi will try to avoid me at any cost. There was a group of us at the Capitol Hill at her office. And guess what? She was behind walls. She didn't come see us, and there were doors that were locked. So she's protected. She's a hypocrite.
And that was earlier this week. We did cover that. We showed you a video a couple days ago. Now, I'm curious, what would you want to say to Nancy Pelosi?
I would like to tell her that she needs to sit down with our president and get with it. She is working for the American people. They should be first. Not illegals, not nobody else, but American citizens. So this won't happen anymore. We just finally need to get this done once and for all. It's been dragging on for 20, 30 years. So get with the president, sit down with him, and work it out. No deal, no deals, no amnesty. Just get that border wall up to protect us.
And Sabina, are you surprised at how far this has gone? I mean, you look at the longest government shutdown in history now as a result of the president fighting for a border barrier.
I'm not surprised because I noticed before they were for the wall, now they're against it. It's a political stunt. They try to keep their voter base, the illegals, because they do vote. That's why they do that. And they hate the president so much and for what he stands for that they would rather offer us up. And we're getting slaughtered. American citizens are getting slaughtered. And I'm tired of their blocking everything that President Trump does.
You know, people are impacted by what's going on right now in different ways. You're obviously impacted by what happened to your son, Dominic. Yeah. That was just a couple years ago in July of 2012. People who are impacted right now because they're not getting a paycheck, because they're furloughed by what's going on. So there are a lot of different conversations to be had here. For people who aren't aware, just remind everyone what happened to your son and why this is so meaningful to you.
Well, I'm a legal immigrant, and my son and I came to the United States the right way. And on July 12, 2012, my only child, my German chocolate Dominic, was on his way to work for the 911 Riverside Sheriff's Department, and he was riding his motorcycle when a twice felon, two DUIs, took his unlicensed, unregistered truck and turned it in front of my son and killed him instantly. And the pain you can't describe. It's a loss, not just for me, but his friends, people that knew him. And it can't happen, and it's been happening since then. I don't want to hug another angel mom.
No, one is too many, that is for sure.
Yeah.
Do us a favor, if you do end up hearing anything from Nancy Pelosi, will you keep us updated and come back?
Oh, you'll be the first one to call. I will call. You guys been very kind to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sabina, and we again are so sorry for your loss.
Wow. It's amazing, huh? Can't even get a interview or 2 minutes. You're so tough. Talk to us. As you can see, Sabina has been all over the place, guys. So check out her website, domhugs.org. I got everything out of whack right now because I sized it for the screen, but there's also justiceforkrisha.com. Let's show some wall. Pretty little background off of there. There we go. Well, I appreciate everybody coming in for President Trump's speech. I think he was very compromising, but not too much. But he's put his hands out there. He's been the one that's been working through the shutdown. The only one that's been at the White House every day except when he went down to survey what was going on at the border. This president fights for us daily. We need to fight for him. The way we can is by those $5 small donations. And also, and I think even, just as important, is calling your congressman, calling your senators, demanding, end the shutdown, get this wall funding, do it. It's time. They told us for years and years and years that they would get shit done. Give us the House. Okay, we got the House. To give us a Senate to get shit done. We can't get shit done unless we have the House and the Senate. Okay, we gave you both. What happened then? Nothing. Then we gave you the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and you did nothing. Paul Ryan, go to hell. Everybody knows about, and every day things become clearer as far as, we'll just call it, in an homage to Dan Bongino, we'll call it Spygate. We all know all about it. We know everything. Well, guess what? This same information that they've trickled out over 2 years to us has been in the know by Paul Ryan since day fucking one. He's known they spied on our president. He's known they've tried to frame him for crimes. He knows they've gone after him to try and get him impeached. He knew it all. And yet he would not allow the truth to come out. And it still hasn't all come out because of him and Jeff Sessions. Absolutely tomorrow. No doubt. I'll probably do another show on that here pretty soon. I'm going to be a lot more active. I've got my internet back on, y'all. And I'm having fun with backgrounds and things. So it's time to get these messages out as best we can. While I'm here, though, why don't I take a quick gander? Because I hate to harp on... I don't think the Q-tard phenomenon is as big as it used to be. But you still got scammers like Praying Medic who just bought a fucking house. You still got scammers like Medic and, hell, as far as I'm concerned, Lionel, that are propagating this bullshit, doing their YouTube shows, and then taking in thousands of dollars in minutes on their channels. Because there's patriots out there that wish... Well, wouldn't that be a great job tomorrow? No problem, vegan. No problem. You know what? I think I'm going to have to do a separate show on the Q scam. It's going to be bigger and more time consuming than maybe I'm prepared for right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a gander over here. my friend Tamara SD lives pretty much right next to the border. She lives in San Diego. And I called her up, full disclosure, a few weeks ago and said, I keep hearing from Stephen Miller and our president that he has built new 30-foot sections of walls, even where they've like tore down the existing and rebuilt the new. But there's no pictures of that. This is the closest thing that I could find, but I don't think this is our border. It could be, but Tamara is going to try and secure something like that. It's not easy because they don't allow the public near that area. And I'm pretty confident I can get some far away pictures, but I'd like to see it up close to be able to just cram it in these libtards' face. That the wall's being built. You're making it slow. Your resistance has slowed it down, but that's about it. You've just slowed it down. So what I'm going to do while you guys are looking at this beautiful picture of my idea of a wall, then I'm going to go ahead and look for some of these videos that my friend Tamara sent me. Yes, the Tijuana-San Diego border is big. And that's they want their technological borders because they can't tear down a real wall. They can't. That's permanent. You can shut off a drone or an electric fence, but you cannot shut off a wall. And it must be there. It must stand. It must be a tribute to the man who put it all on the line for us. Awesome. I just found it. I have far too many messages. No doubt. Oh, wrong one. There. All right. Go ahead and bring that up. There it is. Okay. Right now I'm going to be sizing the screen so you can actually see what's going on. My dog all of a sudden decided to start barking. So I'm hoping that my daughter takes care of that for me. Lord knows. Don't need all that excess noise. You guys haven't met my dog. He's big and he's old. He's a pit, red nose. We rescued him from the Canyon County Animal Shelter. Most people talk about, their pets rescuing them, but no, we rescued his ass because he was a pit, and there's not a lot of places for pits. And especially him, he's not good with other dogs. He was a bait dog. So he was the dog that basically got the dogs that were involved in the dog fighting. He got them started, angry. He does not do good around other dogs, or he hasn't. He's gotten old now, so all he can really do is just bark at them. But he is a great dog. He's at the end of his years. Yeah, 52,000 in pit and booze. That's insanity. All right, this is from KUSI News, sent to me for your viewing pleasure by Tamara SD. And it's just some clips of some local action that's going on down there at the border. Stuff that we just don't get to see very often. All right. I'll go ahead and take Oh, goodness gracious. Here you go with the video. Probably gonna let my dog out.
And as a sign of the times in this debate on the shutdown, CNN asked if KUSI would provide a reporter to offer our local view of the debate, especially to learn if the wall works in San Diego.
KUSI offered our own Dan Plant, who's reported many times that the wall is not an issue here. In fact, most officials believe it is effective. The issue we face is the migrants and the debate over their treatment.
Now, knowing this, CNN declined to have us on their programs, which often present the wall as not required in other places, like the stretch of the Texas border the president visited earlier today. They didn't like what they heard from us.
It's just some background for you.
So something as simple as the whitewash on the fence, you can see it's typically brown.
It's one of the most dangerous places in America, the border between Mexico and San Diego. Some say build a wall and we'll be safe. Truth is, there is no wall and there never has been.
I like to point out to people that the wall is a misnomer. It's a fence. We keep saying walls. Nobody builds walls anymore around prisons. That was all old school. Now it's all fences. A wall is ridiculously expensive. So I think when anybody says wall, I have to guess that they mean a fence.
And it's a fence that's been growing, at least along the San Diego-Mexico border.
So the fences are effective as long as you have the agents and the infrastructure to back it up. If you don't, then they'll be torn down quickly.
If you spend some time with the Border Patrol, you'll find a complex formula to keep the border safe. It takes more than a fence. It takes people, a resource that is in short supply.
We're about 2,000 agents below the level that Congress set for the minimum level for the Border Patrol. So manpower is becoming an issue throughout the United States. It's not a secret. That's something that they need to fix.
That's not the only thing that needs fixing. Even if thousands of agents were hired and every illegal is captured, the policy from the top is letting them go as fast as they are caught.
When we ask people why they're coming here, the answer is invariably the same. And it's not the president. They actually say Obama said it's okay to come. So there's a belief that they will remain, and the belief is true.
As a result of this belief or policy, immigrants detained in the U.S. are quickly released. As long as they claim political asylum, they are processed and let go on this side of the border.
In a way, we're just a welcoming crew. We're a Walmart welcoming crew. It's really disheartening to our guys to know we have control of the border, but all you have to do now is say you have a credible fear, and you're going to be released.
So no matter how many fences, cameras, or agents say the right thing and get a free pass back to the streets of the U.S.
We're going to take them to the trolley stop at the San Ysidro trolley, and we're going to let them go.
What you're looking at here is referred to as the Duncan Hunter Wall, the former congressman who worked very hard to get this up. In fact, it's made out of old military material that the military wasn't using anymore. Now I want to show you how close we are to Las Americas, the shopping mall down here. There is a third fence, however, to prevent people from going into the mall. But as you can see, they have their ways of getting over. The barbed wire is put there to keep them from going over, but you can see they stomped on the barbed wire and then they crawl over the fence. A couple of seconds later, there they are in the parking lot of the shopping mall.
That is the only thing that prevents you from coming into the United States.
Which is nothing.
Which is nothing.
Since then, another layer of fencing has been added, closing up huge gaps where people would simply walk into the United States. These days, some of those people are even scarier than the drug cartels.
Not just one or two, but lots of people that mean harm to this country are slipping in. Everything from criminals to terrorists.
In fact, we don't really know who's being caught and released. Many of these people work off of a script, and they say the magic words, asylum.
Every day has to be by the hundreds, if not close to 1,000, every single day.
In the end, it's a matter of politics from the very top. The message is out.
One of the things we actually absolutely have to have is the President of the United States and the Secretary of Homeland Security to come out and say, look, this is a treasured system. It's being abused. It's going to stop today.
And that's a message that has been very slow trickling to the top. At the border, Dan Plant, KUSI News.
Excuse me? I believe that message has been echoed loud and clear from the top. I was talking to a friend yesterday who had no idea that several thousand people tried to storm our border on New Year's Eve. That, you know, that's just as bad about the lies that they tell is what they don't tell at all. The lying by omission. They're not letting people know the real problems and what's really going on. The real fucking news.
Say our prayers that it stays this way. Yesterday was like something no one has ever seen on this border. And going back about 20 or 30 years, there was this thing called the Banzai Rush, when about 100 or 200 people would actually get up on a hillside over here and rush, knowing there was only 10 or 12 agents there. So 10 or 12 people would get caught and about 180 people would get through. That was before there was even a fence there at all, believe it or not. Now there is fence of some form or fashion up and down this whole area. But that's what they were rushing yesterday. And actually, they managed to get through part of the fence. Now, here's the area we're showing you right now. Jason is panning over. Believe it or not, some of this actually reached into this area right here, which is almost into the United States. That line right there defines the United States from Mexico, and that's about how close they got because there were hundreds of them, and they kept on coming. So I don't know if anybody has seen these pictures from yesterday. There are some unbelievable pictures, but we're going to start with the rush that began, about noon yesterday on Sunday. Check it out.
Jesus Christ. It's not an invasion.
Looking at these pictures, it is hard to believe this is happening just a few feet from America's finest city. With little or no hope for asylum in the United States, members of the caravan followed through on their promise to rush the border, in some cases actually getting through, but not getting far.
To be completely frank, there were numerous people that actually made it across the border. We're in the process of building the new border wall here, but we don't have it completed.
In a sign of complete
there it is, in the process.
Hundreds of migrants took
I
their
want
chances
pictures.
and lost. At this point, there are almost as many agents as there are migrants. The busiest border crossing in the world just turned into a war zone.
The group breached a couple sections of that, actually tore down one small section, started to rush across, and that's another time that they started assaulting our agents. We were able to hold them back using riot techniques.
Part of that technique was tear gas and shutting down the busiest border crossing on Earth. Traffic in both directions coming to a complete stop for almost 5 hours. No cars, no trucks, no people.
There's some good people in there, I know that. But we can't just take care of the world in one country.
This part of the country is no stranger to migrant caravans. They've been arriving at this spot for decades now. But no one can remember a group this big or this defiant.
You know, I saw a lot of women and children there was, but the majority was men.
Before the smoke settled, 42 migrants were arrested and taken away in handcuffs. Under the president's new policy, they will be denied asylum and sent home, including the women and children.
It breaks my heart because I'm of Latino descent, but I'm American first, because they gave us the opportunity that we don't have in these countries. And if we keep just allowing lawlessness, America won't be what these people are coming for.
I thought that was a pretty profound statement. If we keep letting people in and they keep coming in without being, without being checked, then what do we become? Then we become a crazy country. One of the reasons why America is so wonderful is because we do have laws and we do have controls over our own existence here, and what you saw there was just unbelievable, and that all happened literally just a few feet away from where we're standing. So those additional troops, you guys, are apparently coming from Texas, and because they didn't really know which direction the caravan was going to go, they thought that a lot of them would go to El Paso, a lot of them would go through Arizona, but it looks like a majority of them have decided to come to Tijuana right here. And the numbers are all over the place, but anywhere from 4,000 to 7,000 people right now are over there waiting for something to happen. The problem is it's probably not going to happen. As you most of us know, if we follow the news, President Trump has basically informed the government of Mexico that even if these people do apply for asylum, they're going to stay over in Mexico until they get approved or disapproved. Under the previous system, if you came over here, said, I have a credible threat and I want to declare asylum, you would stay in the United States. Well, the president is saying, no, that's over now. You're going to stay over there until you're cleared, and if you were cleared, then you'll come into the United States. A completely different approach to what has been happening under the so-called catch and release program that was so ineffective for so many years. So let me tell you, multi-layered, obviously. You see the pictures of the women and children, your heart has to break. As that one man said, 90% of the people in these caravans are men. As the Trump administration has said, 500 of them are hardened criminals. And these are the guys who really want to get in and do some bad. But holy cow, you guys, it is so real down here, and the whole world is watching, and the whole world is talking about what's happening in our little corner of the earth. And boy, it's something to talk about.
Yeah. It is something to talk about. And they all came. This is the one that she said was pretty interesting. This is the tunnels and the guys who find the people in the tunnels. Like a bad horror movie. They're coming. They're coming to your country. They're coming over the walls. They're coming under the walls. On the next. What's a good title? On the next. The Horde is coming to America. All right, let's watch it.
The adventure begins right here with this small opening in the ground. Believe it or not, we're actually in between the two fences, the primary and the secondary fence, which is where this tunnel came out. From here, it goes 70 feet straight down, which is where we're going right now.
In this case, 70 feet is the distance that separates the real world from the underworld.
Fill them with water first.
Once you reach the bottom, it's about as close to hell as you're going to get here on Earth. It's dark, it's dank, it's muddy, and it's nasty. Perfect for the cartels to carry out their evil deeds.
How many tunnels are there?
Well, as long as there's smuggling, as long as there's demand and supply and all that stuff going on in there, there's always going to be tunneling.
This particular tunnel was shut down before the cartels could do any damage. What you're looking at here is directly below the San Diego-Mexican border, the busiest spot in America for cartels and tunnels.
The sophisticated tunnels, one like you're seeing today, we're up to 28 in San Diego. 65 total since we started counting them in 1993.
When he says sophisticated, he's not talking about the tunnel itself. It's the stuff inside. This one has lighting, a phone line, a water pump, and a rail system to transport the drugs and the weapons from one side of the border to the other.
It's easy to dig through. That's it. I'm not putting any pressure on that whatsoever.
Carving the tunnel itself does require a certain amount of knowledge, but not a lot of fancy tools.
They're using regular tools they buy at Home Depot. Hammer drills, Hilti drills, small sledgehammer type apparatus. They still use shovels, they still use pickaxes, they still haul their dirt away in 5-gallon buckets.
You know, a lot of these tunnels are not as big as this one. In fact, this is one of the biggest ones they've ever found. As you can see, it is about 6 feet high and about 3 to 4 feet wide. Normally, these tunnels are used for smuggling drugs and weapons. This particular one is big enough to smuggle a lot of humans.
For the most part, however, they're all about drugs and guns, like this one they discovered in Jacumba just last month. Once again, the Border Patrol shut it down before the cartels could reach an exit point in the U.S.
Well, that one was about a little more than a third smaller than this particular tunnel. You see I'm virtually standing up right now in there. That one was, we were barely able to go on hands and knees on this one. It was that small. And
it may be small, but it is big enough for the cartels to make some big money.
Welcome, New York City Guns. What's going on, fam? Welcome, everyone else. Plumber, I seen you jumped in and said, what did the president talk about? Well, that's the beginning of the video. You're going to have to go back after. The quick synopsis is, once again, he extended his hand out and said, hey, I'm willing to do some compromise. and he offered them $805 million to secure the ports with their moral technological wall, $805 million for the humanitarian crisis as well. But he needs 2,000 more agents. He needs 75 more judges, immigration judges, to handle the 9,000 case backlog. And he will give them 3 years of 3 years of legislative relief for 700,000 DACA Dreamers and 300,000 TPS, temporary protective status aliens. 3 years, temporary. It's reasonable. Let's see what the Democrats do. They will show again that they are unreasonable, we know. What we're watching is some great footage. After discussing Trump's speech and announcement, we went into some Angel Mom stuff and shown our hero, Sabina, with several interviews. So that was nice. And now we are looking at some videos that Tamara SD sent us from San Diego, the local San Diego news station, of what's really going on down there. No worries, bud. I am right now looking for videos of the illegal aliens storming our country on New Year's Eve, and also pictures of the wall, the real wall that is being built. We need these pictures, and we need to shove it in the libturds' faces every day.
Money. Each one of these tunnels can run into the millions, money they can make back with a single shipment.
We seized over 32 tons of marijuana, 18 of which were still in the tunnel. So that's one push, okay? And at that current time in there, it's about, roughly $68 million.
If and when the new border walls go up, these tunnels are a part of the equation. Each wall could reach 30 feet on top and go up to 30 feet below the ground. Good enough to stop a shallow tunnel, not good enough to stop them from going deep, like this one at 70 feet below.
That's the secret of their success, in the sense. It's not that they build elaborate tunnels per se, it's the levels of persistence and audacity they show when they're building these things in there.
But as persistent as the bad guys may be, for almost a decade now, it's been matched by the persistence of the good guys. In this case, a small but elite group called the Tunnel Rats.
Really proud of the guys in there. I think they're really unique. They really care. They're passionate about what they do. This is not just a 9-to-5er to them.
All right, back out here live, about 100 yards away from where that tunnel was discovered. In between, by the way, these two fences. So this is the secondary fence, and then there's the primary fence that's over there, and then there's that road that runs in between. That is where they actually carved the tunnel out, and that is where they took us on the tour. Now, talking a little bit about the Tunnel Rats themselves, we call them a small and elite group. When I say small, I mean small. There's only 5 of these people. 5 tunnel rats for this entire region to go up and down and try to discover these tunnels. And also, when I say drugs and guns, well, obviously the drugs are coming this way into the United States, and the guns are going that way from the U.S. into Mexico. But what an operation. As they said, it is worth it. They spend millions of dollars. Some of these tunnels can take a year or even 2 years to carve out, but once they get a shipment through, it pays for everything. It is just absolutely a different world down there, obviously, underneath the ground here. The debate we're hearing every single day, and we're talking about the migrants, is what are we going to do on top of the border? How are we going to deal with the things on top of the border? Well, let me tell you guys, the world down under is a whole different world. Has nothing to do with people. Once in a while, they'll smuggle a high-value target through. And when we're talking high-value target, we're talking dangerous. But mostly it's the drugs and the guns that are coming in and out. And boy, the harder these 5 people work, by the way, the better off we are here in the United States, because these days it's a lot of heroin, which, by the way, is laced with fentanyl, and of course those super labs down there in Mexico that produce all that methamphetamine. All of that stuff is making its way across the border as well, many times in these tunnels. So let's hear it for the Tunnel Rats. And by the way, named after a group in Vietnam, the Vietnam War. They had a lot of tunnel warfare. They called them the Tunnel Rats. That's an homage to those guys. So it was quite an experience, you guys, down here in Otay. And if it wasn't for them, that tunnel would have ended up in one of these warehouses right here. And who knows what would have happened.
Thank you, Dan. Just a fascinating look.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. 70 feet down. Holy shit. 70 feet down. That is unbelievable. That's even hard to fathom. Little pick me up, huh? Well, I'm pretty excited because I know that we're at a point we would never be at with any other Republican out there ever. They fold like cheap suits. They're pussies, bottom line. They bow to their lobbyist. We've got a man in there that's put it all on the line for a very small amount. You guys missed John Wick of Politics yesterday for 2 hours, just spewing knowledge. I listened to it earlier. I'll listen to it after I get off because that's kind of how you have to listen to his stuff. You'll miss a lot. I did not check my DM, Vegan. I will look right now as we speak. Don't know how much longer I'm going to be on. I don't want to bore you guys. I want my shows to, resonate in some ways, but not go too far. I will do a Q dive very soon. The Q-Tard dive. We'll talk about, we'll just go on and start searching YouTube and Twitter and, seeing what these idiots are falling for. JFK Jr. teams with Donald Trump. Give me a fucking break. It is. Hotlanta, Georgia. I used to live not far from there, about 5 hours. Matter of fact, I met most of my friends in this room in Hotlanta at the first Dixie MAGA meetup. Hashtag Dixie Cup Nation. What up, fam? And where did you send this DM? I do not see it, Vegan. If it was a Twitter DM, then I should be seeing it. Oh, there it is. Well, okay. If you found something that I can see with the new wall, then I think I will play it. Oh my god, it's an hour, Vegan. An hour. I have to do a new show. But that's the one I found too. That'd be great. Not very legal, but that would be great. That's close to the wall that I'm seeing. If we can find that one. A lot of windows open. There it is. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of this on. We'll clean her up here as we get it.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna check to see if Oscar's on the feed really quick.
Yeah, I got it on in more
We are out here at the border in El Paso and Sunland Park, New Mexico, where we will be expecting, where we already know that 15,000 people at least from Honduras have left as of early this morning. They began leaving since late last night into the morning and continue to leave Honduras.
Okay, I found it now. Where I can actually control it.
In El Paso and Sunland Park, New Mexico, where we will be expecting, where we already know that 15,000 people at least from Honduras have left as of early this morning. They began leaving since late last night into the morning and continue to leave Honduras. We also know that along the way they will be picking up momentum, and they will be picking up more people to join their caravan. So it's gonna be pretty outrageous because in Tijuana, I mean, there was still at least a small fence area, and here it's clear to see for you guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys. You see, it's wide open. The wall actually goes all right here.
It's amazing they can't cross here.
So it's gonna get loud.
But they cross on the other areas. It's hard to see what's at the very top, but it looks pretty tall.
This is where the border ends, guys.
But there's always that ending spot, just like when we watched Guns and Sabina and Big Fish and TJ down at the border with Debbie. There's always an ending, and I don't get that.
Border Patrol agent.
All ending.
You see a truck? So
yeah, we're not going to watch all this,
wide open, no fence,
I will
no
find
fence,
some
no fence.
fishing. I will find some video, and we'll have these celebrations where we show where the wall is being built. That Ann Coulter's claim that 1 inch of wall is being built is just stupid. Yeah, it's all good. Don't worry about it. One of those things where in order to put out a good product, I have to review what I'm looking at. Unless I'm doing a live event like President Trump. Yeah. No worries. I've got that page marked now, so I will go through there. And we will get some pictures of the wall, and they will become my backgrounds. Awesome. I do appreciate everybody coming out today. President Trump was amazing as usual. Check the beginning if you missed the live address. We've got it on there. Yes, Tamara, you are. That was great footage you sent from San Diego. That's awesome. I appreciate that. We don't see that here in Idaho. Mainstream media does not show many local. And like the very first video showed, they tried to show the local, they tried to show CNN what the local reporters were seeing and feeling, and they didn't want to have nothing to do with it. So the lack of reporting for me is just as bad as the lies that they spew. Yeah, the wall's going up as we speak. What does President Trump say? Don't even worry about it. Forget about it. It's coming. There's no doubt. We've got a man in the Oval Office right now that's doing what few others are willing to do. And God bless him for it. And that is why. That's why I love him. Thanks for everybody coming out. No doubt. I think I will go ahead and just pull up something off the top of my head. I will say a quick little tidbit. I'm very, very happy to see that the pro-life march, the March for Life, hit astronomical numbers this year, while at the same time, the scam Women's March is losing its biggest libtarded supporters like Alyssa Milano and other tards. I'm very, very happy to see that. The anti-Semitism that is showing its ugly face in that Women's March with the Linda Sarsours and the hardcore hate the Jew left. It's good that they expose themselves. They feel they can, and so they do. And then we get to expose their hypocrisy. So it's great to see that. So I do believe in that vein. That's where I'll go with my song, because I have every right to play this song. It's exactly how I feel when I'm called a racist. It's exactly how I feel when I'm called a terrible human being because I am white or because of something that white ancestors did. Not mine. I traced my ancestry up to Maine, all the way back to the Revolutionary War. with Solomon. So we didn't own slaves, so you can't throw that. Can't throw that at me anymore. I no longer accept racist. I won't have it. So, for everybody in the fam, it is okay to be white. And it's okay to be a nationalist. It's not okay to be a racist in any way, shape, or form. And I am not that, and I've shown that. Look at my prior videos. Look at the record of this fam calling out racist and anti-Semites. We've done it from the beginning because it ain't right and it hurts our president. And we will continue to always do that. But don't lump me in that group, libtards. I will be back soon with an angel parent interview and more shows on this immigration crisis, this border crisis, and the illegal alien pieces of shit who are destroying American families every single day. With that, I love you guys. Enjoy. Maybe. Doesn't want to bring up the video for some. Give me 1 second. Love you guys. See you soon, fam. Check out SNL tonight.
I cannot feel guilty for that I didn't tomorrow. Do it, but I can understand the reasons why you think that I should. Yeah, I'm white, but I never put your neck in no noose. And I never burnt a cross or hid my face with a hood. You can't just label me racist cause I'm related to people who did some terrible way back before I was alive. My parents brought me up to treat everyone as an equal. I refuse to feel ashamed cause of my pretty blue eyes. And Nazi, white supremacist. Anyone who labels me as that because of my family genetics. The hatred for Caucasians is so pathetic. Go be proud that you're black, but don't hate me for some credit. I'm not the white devil, neo-Nazi, cop trying to pull the trigger. You can call me what you want, but I'd still never say the white race as a whole ain't the enemy. There's racist white people, but we're far from that collectively.
White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh you so bad. White boy, you wish you were black. White boy, dear white boy.
White boy, white noise, I can't say with my white voice. White boys, white lies, don't tell me how to see it through my white eyes. If a black man is sipping on some cognac sitting next to me, I don't assume that every black's favorite drink is Hennessy. I don't dislike Tanisha cause her first name isn't Stephanie. Not only is that wrong, it's a waste of energy. Ivory or ebony, 45 or 17, we all bleed the same. Martin Luther King or Kennedy. They're angry, I'm reciting the facts. He's white and he raps. He stole the culture right from the facts. Okay, he's fire, but we lit the flame. He's siphoning gas. So this corny little honky man, the whitey is whack. You letting history perpetuate the hatred within. And then you paint me with the brush you painted slave owners with. Yeah.
White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh you so bad. White boy, you wish you were black. White boy, dear white boy.
White boy, white noise, I can't say with my white voice. White boys, white lies, don't tell me how to see it through my white eyes. I got a mother, a father, a sister, an auntie, an uncle, and a grandma that I picture when you're openly hating. And God willing, one day I'll have a kid of my own. I refuse to let you blindly hate my wife and my baby, so go ahead and hate the racists. I pray for their extinction. If you wanna hate the white people, just make the distinction between the ones who want the best for everyone regardless and the ones who build the system just to smother you with hardship. Stop before you say it. I know what you've been thinking. How's a straight white male in 2018? You're making me the villain by demonizing my race for things I didn't do and decisions I didn't make. No one that I call a friend has ever owned a slave, and neither did our dads or our dads' dads. Sakes acknowledging atrocities were wrongly committed is all that I can offer when I'm wrongly convicted. I would never hate a man for what God gave him in pigments, and I would never plot against him just because he is different. I would never judge a human for the cards he was given or call him lesser than myself because of the race that he's mixed with. White people that you hate aren't your neighbors or lawyers. They're the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bushes, and Royals. They're the people who monopolized the water and oil and injected your communities with drugs that they spoiled. Got no patience for Nazis, I think they're better off dead. They're fighting hatred with hatred, making the hate more intense. I don't want nothing to do do with either side of the fence. So don't blindly attack me for wearing braids on my head. Hate the people who believe you put yourselves in the ghetto. Hate the ones who teach their children you ain't cause they said so. Hate the ones who think you're all the same and judge you profusely cause the way that you're portrayed on our news and in movies. Being white and being racist aren't the same, man, I promise. No, it's hard to tell the difference if I'm just being honest. I deserve the chance to show you I'm not part of the problem, and you owe it to yourselves. We got so much in common.
White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh you so bad. White boy, you wish you were black. White boy, dear white boy.
White boy, white noise ain't can't say with my white voice. White boys, white lies don't tell me how to see it through my white eyes.
White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh you so bad. White boy, you wish you were black. White boy, dear white boy.